An. This chapter is my attempt at writing fight scenes. Warning. As stated before, it will include some child endangerment and bloody violence, but not against the child. The next 3 chapters are from Luffy's perspective and words in italics, with single quotation marks are his thoughts while those without are for emphasis. I apologize for excessive use of his nickname for Rob Lucci. Minor cursing to follow. Enjoy. Luffy as Gear 4. Snake Man glared at the Marine platoon before him. More than anything though, he was angry at himself. He should never have let his guard down. Never let one of them sneak in among his friends, never let them get anywhere near her. He saw Grandpa standing among them, with a grimace he couldn't quite read. And in front of him, the pigeon man, with those cold white eyes, in between, not Usopp, and the lizard face, man that took her. And in a basket hanging from pigeon man's left arm. Ehime, reaching out to him, babbling, her doe eyes so like her mother's. Luffy couldn't stop his vision flickering, his mind's eye showing him Ace, with Akainu's fist punched through his chest. Never again. Still, he knew he was at a disadvantage. He could clearly see the killing intent in Pigeon Man's eyes, and the grip of his left hand on the basket while the right still dripped with fresh blood. With that, Soru, shave ability, one wrong move or too slow, and it would all be for nothing. Then it happened. Grandpa grabbed Pigeon Man's right arm, and his focus wavered. That was all Nami needed as her illusion shimmered, and the real Usopp reappeared on the bow of the Sunny, firing a mini green star at Pigeon Man's face. All hell broke loose. Zoro took on, not Usopp. Sanji launched a Diable Hambi against Lizard Face. Usopp continued to snipe while Robin used her Giganto Mano to keep most of the platoon from getting close enough for close-range combat. The few stragglers that got past were swiftly pummeled by Frankie's strong right, or diced up by Brooks' Gavad Bond Avant. Jinbei had already charged in using his Fish Man Karate against Gramps. While all this went down, Luffy stretched out his arms and grabbed Pigeon Man's own, knocking his bird aside and holding him in place while Chopper ran forward in leg point form, ready to nab Ehime. Luffy didn't know why Grandpa helped before or if it was on purpose, and he didn't care. His first priority was saving his daughter, his second, making them pay. Still blinded by Usopp's green star, Pigeon Man sent an indiscriminate flurry of Rankyaku, sickle wind, kicks at Chopper. Chopper barely managed to dodge the wind blades while Luffy hardened his body in his armorment haki to block them. By the time he got close enough, one of the kicks finally hit. Chopper's image shimmered and Nami fell from Zeus onto the ground, a deep bloodied gash staining her Wano Kunoichi outfit. Luffy gazed at her still form on the courtyard floor between them with white eyes, feeling his cold fury quickly boiling over to white-hot rage. Yet somehow he managed to hold Pigeon Man and himself where they were, waiting for the right moment. It came when the real Chopper burst from the ground in Antler Point form, grabbed Ehime, and switched to Guard Point, encasing them both in thick fur. Luffy had no further need to hold back. He retracted his arms, pulling himself rapidly towards Pigeon Man for an armorment haki imbued Gomu Gomu no Bell. The two flew and smashed into the near wall of the adjacent main building of the Marine base, upon which Luffy proceeded to pummel Pigeon Man with a barrage of Gomu Gomu no Red Hawks. How dare you touch my daughter? How dare you touch my wife? I'll never forgive you. I'll kill you right here. And I'll never let you come near my family again. Do you hear me, you BASTAAAAAAAARRRD? Pigeon Man, using his Tekai iron body technique managed to deflect the impact of most of Luffy's blows, causing rebound damage to the surrounding building, and a lot of flying debris. Still, he had to be racking up internal damage as Luffy could see blood leaking from his mouth and knows they were two men possessed, driven by the unyielding urge to destroy each other, heedless of the battle around them, or of the devastation their earth-shattering blows were inflicting on the surrounding battlefield. Then Luffy sensed it. Without thinking, Luffy turned around and froze. One of the masked CP0 agents, with blade drawn, making their way towards Nami. By the time Luffy had balled up his fist for a Gomu Gomu no Jet pistol, it was too late. Grandpa appeared, having used his own haki to glide along the water from Jinbei's technique and drop-kick the CP0 agent away from Nami. Luffy knelt there astonished, for too long. He fell to the ground, stomach and chest slashed, as a yellow blur rushed past him. On the ground, through flickering vision, he could just make out Pigeon Man, now in leopard form, holding Grandpa up by the throat. Quote. Did you really think even you could defy the servant of a god? He said to Grandpa, with a chillingly familiar calm tone, in spite of the blood he was coughing up. For their sins, they will pay, the Mugiwara and their allies, Arabasta, Fishman Island, those savages of Wano, even the mongrels on the moving island Zo. All who had the audacity to challenge the world government's supremacy. And you will die with them, Garp. Not as a vice admiral, a marine, or even as a man but as an insect, crushed, and forgotten. And, Pigeon Man, actually smiled, a horrifying, cruel smile, as he raised his left foot towards Nami's still motionless face. Where stories live.